may be levied. No man shall be forced to perform more service for a knight's fee or other freeholding of land than is due from him. Ordinary lawsuits shall not follow the royal court around, but shall be held in a fixed place. Inquests of novel disseisin, morte ancestor, and Darien presentment shall be taken only in their proper county court. We ourselves, or in our absence abroad our Chief Justice, will send 2 justices to each county 4 times a year, and these justices, with 4 knights of the county elected by the county itself, shall hold the assizes in the county court, on the day and in the place where the court meets. If any assizes cannot be taken on the day of the county court, as many knights and freeholders shall afterwards remain behind of those who have attended the court, as will suffice for the administration of justice, having regard to the volume of business to be done. For a trivial offense, a free man shall be fined only in proportion to the degree of his offense, and for a serious offense correspondingly, but not so heavily as to deprive him of his livelihood. In the same way a merchant shall be spared his merchandise, and a husbandman the implements of his husbandry, if they fall upon the mercy of a royal court. None of these fines shall be imposed, except by the assessment on oath of reputable men of the neighborhood. Earls and barons shall be fined only by their equals, and in proportion to the gravity of their offense. A fine imposed upon the lay property of a clerk in holy orders shall be assessed upon the same principles, without reference to the value of his ecclesiastical benefice. No town or person shall be forced to build bridges over rivers, except those with an ancient obligation to do so. No sheriff, constable, coroners, or other royal officials are to hold lawsuits that should be held by the royal justices. Every county, hundred, wapentake, and tithing shall remain at its ancient rent, without increase, except the royal demesne manors. If at the death of a man who holds a lay fee of the crown, a sheriff or royal official produces royal letters patent of summons for a debt due to the crown, it shall be lawful for them to seize and list movable goods found in the lay fee of the dead man to the value of the debt as assessed by a worthy man. Nothing shall be removed until the whole debt is paid, when the residue shall be given over to the executors to carry out the dead man's will. If no debt is due to the crown, all the movable goods shall be regarded as the property of the dead man, except the reasonable shares of his wife and children. If a free man dies intestate, his movable goods are to be distributed by his next of kin and friends, under the supervision of the church. The rights of his debtors are to be preserved. No constable or other royal official shall take corn or other movable goods from any man without immediate payment, unless the seller voluntarily offers postponement of this. No constable may compel a knight to pay money for castle guard if the knight is willing to undertake the guard in person, or with reasonable excuse to supply some other fit man to do it. A knight taken or sent on military service shall be excused from castle guard for the period of his service. No sheriff, royal official, or other person shall take horses or carts for transport from any free man without his consent. Neither we nor any royal official will take wood for our castle or for any other purpose without the consent of the owner. We will not keep the lands of people convicted of felony in our hands for longer than a year and a day, after which they shall be returned to the lords of the fees concerned. All fish weighers shall be removed from the Thames, the Medway, and throughout the whole of England, except on the sea-coast. The writ called Precept shall not in the future be issued to anyone in respect of any holding of land, if a free man could thereby be deprived of the right of trial in his own lord's court. There shall be standard measures of wine, ale, and corn, the London quarter, throughout the kingdom. There shall also be a standard width of dyed cloth, russet, and haberjacked, namely 2 ells within the selvages. Weights are to be standardized similarly. In the future, nothing shall be paid or accepted for the issue of a writ of inquisition of life or limb. It shall be given gratis and not refused. If a man holds lands of the crown by fee farm, socage, or burgage, and also holds land of someone else for knight service, we will not have guardianship of his heir, nor of the land that belongs to the other person's fee, by virtue of the fee farm, socage, or burgage, unless the fee farm owes knight service. We will not have the guardianship of a man's heir, or of the land that he holds of someone else, by reason of any small property that he may hold of the crown for a service of knives, arrows, or the like. In the future, no official shall place a man on trial upon his own unsupported statement without producing credible witness to the truth of it. No free man shall be seized or imprisoned, or stripped of his rights or possessions, or outlawed or exiled, or deprived of his standing in any other way, nor will we proceed with force against him or send others to do so, except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. To no one will we sell, to no one deny or delay right or justice. All merchants may enter or leave England unharmed and without fear, and may stay or travel within it by land or water for the purposes of trade, free from all illegal exactions in accordance with the ancient and lawful customs. This, however, does not apply in time of war to merchants from a country that is at war with us. Any such merchants found in our country at the outbreak of war shall be detained without injury to their persons or property, until we, or our Chief Justice, have discovered how our merchants are being treated in the country at war with us. If our merchants are safe, they shall be safe too. In the future, it shall be lawful for any man to leave and return to our kingdom unharmed and without fear, by land or water, preserving his allegiance to us, except in time of war, for some short period for the common benefit of the realm. People that have been imprisoned or outlawed in accordance with the law of the land, people from a country that is at war with us, and merchants, who shall be dealt with as stated above, are excepted from this provision. If a man holds lands of any escheat, such as the honour of Wallingford, Nottingham, Boulogne, Lancaster, or of other escheats in our hands that are baronies, at his death, his heirs shall give us only the relief and service that he would have made to the baron, had the barony been in the baron's hands. We will hold the escheat in the same manner as the baron held it. People who live outside the forest need not in the future appear before the royal justices of the forest in answer to the general summons, unless they are actually involved in proceedings or are sureties for someone who has been seized for a forest offense. We will appoint as justices, constables, sheriffs, or other officials, only men that know the law of the realm and are minded to keep it well. All barons who have founded abbeys and have charters of English kings or ancient tenure as evidence of this may have guardianship of them when there is no abbot, as is their due. All forests that have been created in our reign shall at once be disafforested. River banks that have been enclosed in our reign shall be treated similarly. All evil customs relating to forests and warrens, foresters, warners, sheriffs and their servants, or river banks and their wardens, are at once to be investigated in every county by 12 sworn knights of the county. And within 40 days of their inquiry, the evil customs are to be abolished completely and irrevocably. But we or our Chief Justice, if we are not in England, are first to be informed. We will at once return all hostages and charters delivered up to us by Englishmen as security for peace or for loyal service. We will remove completely from their office the kinsmen of Gerard de Adt, Peter, Guy, Andre de Chanceau, Guy de Signon, and in future they shall hold no offices in England. The people in question are Anglard de Signon, Geoffrey de Montagnier and his brothers, Philip Mark and his brothers, with Geoffrey his nephew, and all their followers. As soon as peace is restored, we will remove from the kingdom all the foreign knights, bowmen, their attendants, and the mercenaries that have come to its harm, with horses and arms. To any man whom we have deprived or dispossessed of lands, castles, liberties, or rights, without the lawful judgment of his equals, we will at once restore these. In cases of dispute, the matter shall be resolved by the judgment of the 25 barons, referred to below in the clause for securing the peace. In cases, however, where a man was deprived or dispossessed of something, without the lawful judgment of his equals, by our father King Henry, or our brother King Richard, and it remains in our hands, or is held by others under our warranty, we shall have respite for the period commonly allowed to crusaders, unless a lawsuit had been begun, or an inquiry had been made at our order, before we took the cross as a crusader. On our return from the crusade, or if we abandon it, we will at once render justice in full. We shall have similar respite in rendering justice in connection with forests that are to be disafforested or to remain forests when these were first afforested by our father Henry or our brother Richard. With the guardianship of lands in another person's fee, when we have hitherto had this by virtue of a fee held of us for knight service by a third party, and with abbeys founded in another person's fee, in which the lord of the fee claims to own a right. On our return from the crusade, or if we abandon it, we will at once do full justice to complaints about these matters. No one shall be arrested or imprisoned on the appeal of a woman for the death of any person except her husband. All fines that have been given to us unjustly and against the law of the land, and all fines that we have exacted unjustly, shall be entirely remitted, or the matter decided by a majority judgment of the 25 barons, referred to below in the clause for securing the peace, together with Stephen, Archbishop of Canterbury,